It is Thursday, January 28th, 2016, and the title of this rant will be the Oregon Standoff. It's time to move on. So Amon and his cadre of malcontents most of them have been arrested. 8 originally, I guess, and then 3 in the last day. And the rest will probably move on pretty soon. And it's really is time to move on because these malcontents have done a lot of damage in that area in terms of the fact that all the work that was being done by those who were working at the wildlife refuge. Now they have to go back in. They probably can't go back in right away. They're going to have to reassess everything that they've done there, clean up the big mess that all of them have made, and then get back to their work. At the same time, they can't go in until it's guaranteed that it's safe. Either federal or state troopers, lawmen, whatever you want to call it, will probably need to be there monitoring to make sure that no one else tries to do what Amon and his guys did. And that's going to cost a lot of money. And of course, let's just go into the basic premise of exactly why they were there, is they wanted to take the land so they could rape and pillage the land for profit for themselves. That's basically the only reason why they wanted to go there. They couched it in the Constitution and whatever else they wanted to throw in there, the 10th Amendment, the Second Amendment. And of course, the only reason why they were able to stay there is because they came with arms and they said that they would not how do I want to put it? They said that we have arms and we will protect ourselves. So that's why they stayed there for so stinking long. Now, let's hope, number 1, no bail. Number 2, trial, 6 months, a year. I don't know how long these federal trials take. They have a couple of charges right now. They might add a lot more charges as time goes on. So it's an ongoing type of thing. We'll still hear a little bit about it as we go on after the trial. My hope is they may not be convicted on everything. Let's hope they're convicted on enough to put him in prison for a number of years. And at the same time, what's really going to have to happen now is that let's hope, if Amon hasn't paid any of his taxes and his brother, let's hope that there are tax charges against them, liens against them, etc. I hope they go after Daddy Boy, who might be a really big instigator in this whole thing, and get Cliven in the pokey and have him walking his perp walk with his striped suit on at 68 years old. And see how that is. And, I think it is an appropriate time to really go much further after this sovereign citizen crap that's gone on. Now, I'm not saying all of these guys were sovereign citizens, but they appealed to that type of group, and they also didn't want to pay their taxes. So it is probably a good time to start going after sovereign citizens and a lot of these people who are not paying their taxes. We should do it also against the New York bankers. Really go after them. But we just can't have interruptions like this. I mean, are we going to have to, the Justice Department going to have to go much further in and monitor these sovereign citizens to see that they don't go after some other wildlife refuge, some other area in the western United States and take it over? I think that they would have to. That takes a lot of resources to do. Will they have to have a police presence maybe at some of these places just to be sure that something like that isn't going on? Possibly they would need to do that too. So this will cost a lot of money, but it is something that we need to do. Now, there was that one guy that died, Lavoie, and I'm really the guy just turned 56. He had 11 children, and he said it was okay for him to die. It was almost as if he had a death wish in all of this. And we don't know the exact circumstances, but there's a little bit of conflicting stories as to whether or not he had his hands up or whether or not he actually got out of the car and attacked or went after, and whether there was a gun in his hand. But the point that I would like to make is they're making him a martyr on that side, and I guess that's exactly what they're going to do. But if it does come out that he actually had a weapon in his hand and was shot dead, I just, the guy had 11 kids. And one of the things that we all know, or I hope we all know, is when you're surrounded, when you're outnumbered, when you don't have a case, it's time, to cede and to move on and then go in for the next one. We see this in sports all the time. You lose, you congratulate the winner, and hopefully if you get the chance to have that opponent again, you want to do a better job. The same thing is with an election. If you lose gracefully, and then you try and get elected to something else or go back and get that election another time. Same thing in business. I mean, that's the way it is. But he specifically seemed to have some type of death wish, so to speak. And everyone else was arrested, and he was the one that passed away. And I'm very sorry that he passed away, but this whole concept that you're a ragtag group of whatever you want to call yourselves, you're completely surrounded, you knew the feds were there. And here's the other thing. They wanted to change so goddamn much. It would never happen in 1 year. It wouldn't even happen in probably 50 years, as you have to go into every single land lease contract, etc., to change them, etc., etc. And to say that that was about your freedom and that you'd be willing to die for it, knowing you're completely surrounded, knowing that if you show an arm, any type of arms in front of them, especially when they're there, and they've already had their weapons trained on you, that certainly seems like a death wish to me. But we'll find out about that. But the best thing is hopefully it's completely over. A lot of things need to be done to make sure that the Malheur Wildlife Refuge is safe, so that people can go back in, not only those that work there, but all of the tourists that go there, all of the environmentalists that go there, et cetera, et cetera. And hopefully we'll take a much stronger look at the sovereign citizen thing, and especially on some of those, let's just call them malcontents, starting with Cliven, who haven't been paying their taxes, and let's get them in the pokey too.